morning, Moon Bay. Boy, the winds howled and howled till about 2 o'clock in the morning. And then the rollers came in. I have got to fix a tear in the sail. Later, I did a proper repair with my Sailrite Ultra Feed sewing machine. A scarless result. Another consequence of our antics of the previous day was blowing out the mast track. Now, whenever we lowered the mainsail, it would become detached from the mast. Starting today, our morning ritual included remounting the mainsail on the mast. I replaced the mast track when we got back. We could have avoided all this damage by reefing the main or just using the foresail for the strong downwind sailing the day before. Cursor forwards to see if I run into the lighthouse, and the lighthouse is far to my right when I do that. Yeah, we need to be going almost straight east out of here. Now I think that thing straight ahead is the lighthouse. Okay. I'm gonna run my cursor forwards and see if I run into the lighthouse. And I do. And I need to go, I want to pass, a little bit to the outside of it, right? Yeah. You better decide 2 hours early though, because to get into like protected anchorage areas, you know how much motoring it takes. It's not like you just drop the sail and drop the anchor, we'll look and see what direction the winds will be coming overnight and then find a anchorage that protects us. A new day after a horrendous night at anchor. Stacy's now making bagels with cream cheese and salmon. And we are upwind sailing now. Island Lake. All the birds up there. We disturb the birds. Oh, I think we really bugged them a lot. Still deciding where we're gonna go tonight. It's 3:15 in the afternoon. We've traveled 41 miles so far today. We can travel another 20 miles before it gets dark. Winds are predicted to blow 15 to 20 knots from the northwest for most of the night. We definitely thought about going back to Solomon's, a 12-mile trip that would get us in long before dark and also give us excellent protection. Alternatively, we could sail north for another 20 miles to the mouth of the Choptank and then travel in the dark for 12 miles to Taylor Island or the Little Choptank, 9 miles in the dark to the southern shore of the Choptank, or 15 miles in the dark to the northern shore of the Choptank. The northern shore would provide the best protection, but would add an hour traveling in the dark to an anchorage we had never seen before. We had anchored in Cook's Cove on the southern shore of the Choptank a few years ago, after motoring for 3 hours in the dark. Sailing on a schedule is never ideal. We had an appointment in Annapolis the next day for some routine servicing on our engine and wanted to get as far north as we could today. We decided to head for Cook's Cove and just suck up whatever conditions the northwest winds stirred up. Finally, a stately sail, light winds, beam reach, flat seas. This is Stacy's kind of thing.
Love it.
Nobody's freaking out, no anxiety, just peaceful. The Choptank River holds special meaning for us. It is the setting of James Michener's historical novel Chesapeake, a book that inspired us to embrace the Chesapeake water culture. It is also a place that provided refuge for us one scary evening a few years ago. But that's a story for another day. We arrived at the mouth of the Choptank just as the sun was setting. We motored along for 2 hours in the progressively deepening dark, following a chain of flashing red buoys. The greatest risk of motoring in the dark on the Chesapeake is crab pots. Their lines can wrap around the propeller shaft, killing the engine. As we traveled, Stacy would periodically go forward on the deck with a floodlight to look for crab pots. With about 45 minutes to go, the northwest winds picked up as predicted and the rollers started building. We were very glad to see the last buoy marking our turn into Cook's Point Cove. Curiously, that buoy was gone when we left in the morning. I put the anchor down with a 14-to-1 scope and weighted the line with my 20-pound mushroom. We did not drag this night, but as expected, we had no protection from the northwest winds. The rollers were insane. They would come in sets of 5 to 12, raising the bow high and then slamming it down with a crash. It kept me awake most of the night, but to Stacy, it was gentle rocking that made her sleep even sweeter.